Tony, thank you. Now to the latest on the Washington Bridge breakdown.
Engineers continue looking into what needs to be fixed, and when they do fix it, the DOT director says they need to make sure they tackle every single deficiency. As we learned yesterday, that means the possibility of building a complete new one is on the table.
12 News reporter Sheena Lasciuto is live in East Providence with what leaders are saying.
Well, Director Alviti is comparing the bridge project to a medical procedure. He says you want to make sure you take your time because you want to make sure it's done right. How long would that take? That's the million-dollar question.
It's been 43 days since its sudden closure.
I mean, we didn't get up in the morning and say, let's shut down the bridge for no reason at all. There was a safety issue there.
So what's next for the westbound side of the Washington Bridge? According to the Rhode Island DOT, possibilities include extensive repairs, a partial reconstruction, or the extreme, a complete rebuild.
As a director, and my job is to keep people safe and to build bridges.
Until engineers are ready to make a full report, there's no clear answer and no clear timeline.
I could make estimates all day long, but I'm not going to. This goes back to me being an engineer and me relying on what the engineers are finding. I need that information, or we need at DOT to have that information come to us so that we could develop from that information how much work has to be done, and from that, then that will tell us how long it will take.
Governor Dan McKee at this point staying optimistic, hoping they won't have to start from scratch.
We're waiting on engineers right now to provide us with the latest information. At the moment, I'm following a path in my mind that is consistent with what we talked about, some form of a repair strategy, something that would put the bridge back in service in a short period of time. Until we hear different from the engineers, that's the path I think we're taking. But when we hear anything different, we'll certainly let the public know.
In the meantime, Director Alviti says his team is looking at ways to alleviate the existing traffic we're seeing on a daily basis.
Several engineering companies working on just that, precisely that. What kind of interim measures can we put in place by using other infrastructure that's available on the eastbound bridge?
A lot of players are looking for answers with this project. On Friday, a group of state lawmakers from the East Bay will be meeting with RIDOT for an update. Reporting live in East Providence tonight, I'm Sheena Lasciuto.
Thank you, Tony. And as you just saw a moment ago, it's another evening of traffic backups, that is, on 195 West, thanks to the Washington Bridge shutdown.
Tonight, we're hearing from people in East Providence following RIDOT's admission that the bridge might need to be torn down and rebuilt. While the DOT insists no decision has been made yet, they aren't able to say any more when things on 195 will be back to normal. 12 News reporter Sheena Lasciuto is live in East Providence with what people are saying.
At this point, everybody just wants some type of update on the Washington Bridge project. However, RIDOT says they aren't really ready to answer those questions until they get more information themselves.
43 days.
The days when the bridge was totally closed, it was mayhem.
And counting.
And it's a pain in the neck.
Since the Rhode Island DOT announced the closure of the westbound side of the Washington Bridge. When will it end? From the brake lights at the bypass lanes to the congestion around the detours.
As a director, and my job is to keep people safe and to build bridges.
As of this moment, there's no clear answer since RIDOT is still researching, weighing their options on what to do next. Possibilities include extensive repairs, a partial reconstruction, or a complete rebuild.
I could make estimates all day long, but I'm not going to. This goes back to me being an engineer and me relying on what the engineers are finding. I need that information, or we need at DOT to have that information come to us so that we could develop from that information how much work has to be done, and from that, then that will tell us how long it will take.
Senate Majority Whip Val Lawson, representing East Providence, is one of the 11 East Bay lawmakers calling on RIDOT to give more updates on the progress. A meeting is set for Friday.
I mean, it's a quality of life issue, and they need to be updated so they can plan accordingly, because in essence, you really can't.
12 News also asked Congressman Gabe Amo about any conversations happening at a federal level.
We are most certainly focused on the bridge, just like we were on December 11th when we first heard this news. I will continue to stay in touch with my partners in the delegation and with leaders at the Federal Department of Transportation as we have what we need from the state in order to move forward.
If it takes a lot longer because the project expands in some way, then we're going to do what's safe, and we're going to follow what the engineers tell us.
And we're also expecting a House Oversight Committee meeting on the bridge in the next few weeks. Reporting live in East Providence, I'm Sheena Loshuto, 12 News.